Hello. Today I'm going to discuss the upcoming Canadian federal election, some of the things that have impacted it and where it's going. Now, the last statistic I read, the Liberals were only 8 points behind the Conservatives, which is a huge change. Previously, the Conservatives had a massive majority. There was no question they were going to get in. So what exactly is happening, and specifically for seniors, and when I talk about seniors, I'm talking about 65 plus, but for those of us who are maybe approaching 65 or getting there, this election will impact what happens for us within the next few years, in terms of things like benefits and healthcare and so forth. So first of all, we need to know that seniors are very important when it comes to the federal election. For instance, in the 2015 federal election, voters aged 65 to 74% exhibited a turnout rate of 79%, which is significantly more than other age groups. They do speak up. Now, there's a number of factors that impact or contribute to this high voter turnout, including civic responsibility, the feeling that there is an importance to engage in their civic duty, to act in the democratic process and speak their minds. Of course, there's stability and routine. Seniors have more time if they're retired. It may reduce barriers such as work-related difficulties getting out to vote. And of course, policy impact. Seniors are acutely aware of how governmental policy impacts their daily lives, particularly areas, like I said, healthcare and social services. And it motivates them to vote for parties that are actually addressing senior rights. So the Liberal Party historically recognized the importance of senior vote and tailored the policies to seniors' concerns. In January of this year, Justin Trudeau resigned as Prime Minister, and that had a big impact on what is happening. It allowed those candidates who are vying for the leadership of the Liberal Party to respond to seniors in a way that maybe had kind of gotten lost in the mix. And before I go on, I want to tell you, if you're enjoying this video, please hit subscribe and like. It may not be as important to you, but it sure is to me. Thanks so much. And on we go. So one of the things that the leadership candidates for the Liberal Party are talking about now is pension enhancements. Now, we know that in July 2022, seniors aged 75 and older received an increase in old age security of about 10%. And the current leadership candidates vying for leadership of the Liberal Party are talking about even greater enhancements to OAS. Of course, there's healthcare accessibility. Now, in February 2024, the Liberal government tabled a bill, Bill C-64, and it's called an Act Respecting Pharmacare, and this is just pharmacare access for all Canadians. It's designed to create a single-payer system for essential medications, and the current leadership candidates are certainly talking about that. There's also, of course, aging in place, home care. Seniors want tax credits if they're paying for their own home care. And some of the Liberal proposals include funding for home care services as well as tax credits. Now, we do have basic funding for home care, but if you've looked at it lately, you can see that there are some huge gaps. There's also, and we can thank Donald Trump for this, there's an increased state of nationalism along the lines of the country. So there's both the nationalism and regionalism, and they come together. Now, originally, like the rise of parties like the Bloc Québécois reflected a resurgence of regional pride and identity. So in October 2024, Bloc leader Yves-François Blanchet, and I apologize if I pronounced that wrong, leveraged his party support to secure legislative concessions benefiting Quebec's dairy farmers and seniors. And this underscores the influence of regionalism in federal politics. Of course, there's the issue of cultural preservation. Seniors may perceive themselves as the custodians of cultural heritage and may feel a heightened sense of duty to preserve national and regional traditions. And when political narratives address this and emphasize this, they increase the likelihood that seniors will vote for them. The policies, as I said, are very important, and nationalism and regionalism kind of come together in the policies that affect seniors every day, like healthcare and benefits. Then, of course, there's the convergence of seniors with the shifting tides of nationalism. We know that nationalism is increasing, and again, we can thank Donald Trump for this. He got us all angry enough that we're speaking out and we are working as one. So parties that want to address nationalism, that focus on it, that look at how important being Canadian is, are more likely to increase the popularity. And that is what's happening. The Liberals the leadership candidates have been addressing this issue and talking about it, where Pierre Poilievre has only very recently realized that he may have missed the boat on that. And that is not a put down on Pierre Poilievre. It's simply that he didn't catch what was happening. In the past, we know that there have been alliances, for example, between the NDP and Liberal. That's changed. But with a new leader, that may come into play, and that will affect some NDP voters who are traditional voters for the NDP, for example, who may decide that they would make a strategic vote for the Liberals, and then their party will come in and support changes that would be useful and valuable to the senior population. Of course, it's important that leadership candidates address regional concerns as they impact everyday life. So what we need here or want here in Western Canada may be very different from what people want in Eastern Canada, Ontario, farther east, Newfoundland, that sort of thing. As I said, we know that the parties are coming closer together. Prior to Justin Trudeau resigning, there was a strong majority behind the Conservatives. Now that majority has fallen quite dramatically and seems to be closing in. Just about every poll I read, they're closer and closer. I need to be clear. I am not talking about which party I would vote for. You have no idea which party I would vote for, although I think I've mentioned it in the past. It's not one of the two I've been talking about. Will that help? So, yeah, we see this change happening. And again, it was both the resignation of Justin Trudeau and the nationalism that has become so pronounced in our country because of the issues brought about by Trump. So, for example, in February, which is this month, obviously, we're seeing that 8-point spread, but it's getting closer and closer. Like I said, it was a 19-point spread, and then it was a 13-point spread. Now it's an 8-point spread. I suspect I've missed a couple of polls there that have close them in even closer. It's important that senior voters be taken seriously. It's also important that this desire for nationalism be taken seriously. There's a couple of very prominent figures in the Liberal leadership race, Mark Carney and Chrystia Freeland, and they have been speaking about issues important to seniors that will impact both who ends up as the leader of the Liberals and who ends up as the leader of Canada. So Pierre Poilievre, I think he is coming around. He's starting to realize that the state of nationalism is very important. Whether he's starting to understand the issues important to seniors, that is questionable. Certainly he understands the need for things like tax rebates. He does maybe have less of an understanding of, for example, housing for low-income seniors and the importance of an increased basic benefits for seniors. Again, low-income seniors are most profoundly affected by these things. And with that, I say thank you for watching. As I said before, if you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe. May not be important to you, but it's very important to me. And with that, remember, it's good to be senior. Hugs.